The Netflix Marvel shows are scheduled to leave Netflix March 1st, and I'm going to talk about where this and how this is going to end up for Netflix and Disney. Let's get into it. Real quick before we get into this, I do want to say hit the subscribe button down below. It does my channel a lot of good, and I want to get to 1,000 subscribers eventually. So do me a big favor by hitting the subscribe button down below. I wanted to talk about this because this is kind of a big deal. Marvel Netflix shows, for one, have been probably the most popular set of shows on Netflix. I know you have Squid Game and Tiger King and stuff like that, but a part of a franchise, this is the Marvel Netflix shows are like the biggest thing in the earlier days of Netflix because they didn't have much but the Netflix shows or the Marvel shows, but now they're leaving Netflix, and a lot of people are reporting that Disney is getting the rights back. Now, whether Disney just bought them out and said, here's a big chunk of cash, now we want the rights to these shows, or there was some licensing agreement with the characters when they made the shows, like, hey, you can, in a couple of years, you're going to have to repay this, and then you can keep the shows, and Netflix didn't feel like it, so they sold them off to Disney, something like that. People are reporting, like Variety, they're reporting that Disney now has the rights to, like, Netflix, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and The Defenders. And if that's true, that would be a big win for Disney and the MCU overall. We've seen recently characters like Daredevil and Kingpin coming into the MCU, and whether their respected shows are canon or not, we know their characters are. And that is what's really cool about this. And I feel what's been holding Disney back and Kevin Feige from saying that those Netflix shows are in the MCU and kind of all the ABC shows is that they didn't own them. I mean, they did, I think they produced them, but Netflix had them. They didn't really have them in their catalog. And now that Disney does have these Netflix shows in their catalog, I think they could start saying, hey, it's kind of in the MCU. Because, I mean, that would really make a lot of fans happy. I've been making my way through kind of the extended MCU with shows like Inhumans, Agent Carter, Hellstrom, and Daredevil. I mean, Inhumans is just horrible, but, these shows are good. There are some really good shows in here. I think Cloak and Dagger, it's not a Netflix show, but it's really good, and it'd be cool to see them bring in characters from these shows that people love, that they were told were in the MCU, but of course we know now they're not really in the MCU. But it'd be cool if, like, in multiverse movies, they're going all in the multiverse, if they just pulled people in, like the actors, and they pulled them into the main MCU timeline. That would be really cool. But now let's talk about where these Netflix shows could go. First of all 5 of these are rated TVMA. Mostly they're really bloody and gory, and some other things, language, stuff like that. In these recently, Disney Plus, of course, Star. If you don't know what that is, it's Disney Plus outside of the U.S. Has Star integrated into Disney Plus, which is Disney owned, and it's for like all the mature R-rated TVMA content that Disney owns. So Disney Plus is not just TV 14 and under like it is in the US. It's for all ages. They have stuff like The Walking Dead. They have Die Hard. They have Deadpool. They have all that stuff on there. And I think Disney Plus US has started to slowly integrate this stuff, because last week we did get Blackish, Grownish, and The Wonder Years on Disney Plus, and a brand new Korean show from South Korea called Snowdrop, which is also TV 14. So we are seeing a little more mature content being integrated into Disney Plus. And first of all, I think they might go to Hulu, because Disney owns Hulu. So I think they're going to put them on Hulu with like shows like Hellstrom and Cloak and Dagger, but I think it would work better on Disney Plus, and it'd be great. I don't think this would happen, but it'd be great if the first like TVMA stuff Disney Plus had would be these Netflix shows. That would be really great. And then you can bring in like again the ABC shows, all that, throw it onto one service, and you have the entire MCU all in one, except for the Spider-Man movies, which no the new MCU trilogy they should be on Disney Plus. And then there was a Sony deal that they made last year, but nothing really came of that yet. I think it's still being worked out. But to have the whole MCU on Disney Plus would be phenomenal. It'd be awesome. Again, I think they're going to go to Hulu for the time being. I think Disney Plus US will go into more mature shows later this year or next year. But man, this is a really good announcement. I know it sucks if you don't have Disney Plus, but to me, having kind of like all these Netflix shows on Disney Plus would be a really cool thing. But, I am currently watching Daredevil on Netflix, so I got to finish that up because who knows when they're actually going to be released. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this video. Comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts on just in general. What do you think about these Netflix shows no longer belonging in Netflix? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, you can check out some more videos right now.